Hello everyone! Based on the title, me and my friends are going to explain about reciprocal teaching strategies. So, let's get into the video!
Reciprocal teaching is an instructional technique whereby students dialogue with teachers on the portion of a text in order to aid students' comprehension levels. The aim is to make students give meaning to the text in a passage after reading it. Students may also be paired in groups and each of them takes on the role of a teacher in turns explaining the text of a passage and answering questions from other students and the class teacher. The purpose of reciprocal teaching is to encourage students to think about what they are reading and their thought process. Allow students to collaborate with others to gain a better understanding of a text. Teach students to be actively involved in monitoring their comprehension. And lastly, teach students to ask questions during reading.
Sullivan, Palinskar, and Anne L. Brown developed the original reciprocal teaching strategies in their 1984 study. They demonstrate that using the 4 building blocks actively supports students' reading comprehension. The first one is predicting. There are 2 parts to predict a text. The first involves predict what is going to happen overall in the reading. The other involves predict what is going to happen next in a section or chapter. They sound similar but both have different process. In the part 1, predict what will happen throughout a text by using the title, imagery, or such as cover art, or even a brief summary. Then use those clues to make your prediction of what happens in the entire piece. In the part 2, skim the next bit of text you have been assigned to read and pick out certain words, sentence, or image. From that quick overview, make a prediction as to what is going to happen next in the text. We want our students to avoid broad predictions that don't give any real insight to what a reading is about. Predictions should state what the reader thinks the author's purpose is in a text and give evidence as to why the reader has come to such conclusion. Making a prediction with evidence will better connect students with the text, making them more involved in the reading process.
Questioning promotes interaction as students pose questions about the text they are reading to their peers. Engagement in questioning with peers can better help students to arrive at possible solutions to a question, find relevant information, work cooperatively in groups, and monitor their own comprehension. Students become much more involved in the text and reading when they are posing and answering questions themselves rather than answering the teacher's question. Asking questions can be hard and many students don't know where to start. Therefore, lead the students use the 5W and 1H: who, what, when, where, why, how. Asking these questions and answering questions gets students involved with their reading and ensures they are paying attention to important details.
Okay, I will explain about clarifying. Clarifying is used to make sure students continue to understand what they are reading throughout the entire process. This could be as simple as identify a known word to something more complicated, such as explaining the key concept of a particular passage. Clarifying is a 2-step process where students, the first is identify what they are confused by an idea or word. Second one, take steps to resolve the confusion and better understand the text. Give the student a good idea of what it feels like to misunderstand a passage, so they can identify this problem themselves.
Summarizing. Summarizing involves condensing a reading to its most important points in both written and verbal forms. This can be a complicated task, but when done correctly, summarizing can greatly improve a student's understanding of a reading. Summarizing each portion of a reading creates a roadmap for students to see which part they understand. During group work, Students should be able to verbalize their summaries to their classmates. At the end of the reading, students can combine their smaller summaries to make one full-length overview. What are the best ways for students to summarize the reading? Ask questions throughout the reading process that help comprehension of the important points. Ask students questions like, what was this part about? What happened at the beginning, middle, or end? What are the most important ideas from this paragraph, section, or reading? Summarizing is a key contributor to improving reading comprehension. The ability to create a complete summary shows that students have been able to not only understand the reading, but also describe it in their own words. Steps on teaching reciprocal strategies consist of the first one, put students in groups of 4. The second one, distribute one note card to each member of the group identifying each person's unique role. They are predictor, questioner, clarifier, and summarizer. The third one, have students read a few paragraphs of the assigned text selection. Encourage them to use note-taking strategies such as selective underlining or sticky notes to help them better prepare for the rule in the discussion.
The predictor can offer predictions about what the author will tell them, or if it's a literary selection, the predictor might suggest what the next events in the story will be. The clarifier will address confusing parts and attempt to answer the questions that were just posed. The questioner will then pose questions about the selection. They are unclear parts, puzzling information, and connections to other concepts already learned.
At the given stopping point, the summarizer will highlight the key ideas up to this point in the reading.
The eighth is, the roles in the group then switch one person to the right, and the next selection is read. Students repeat their process using their new roles. This continues until the selection is read. The last one is, throughout the process, the teacher's role is to guide and nurture the student's ability to use the 4 strategies successfully within the small group. The teacher's role is lessened as students develop skill.
Advantages of reciprocal teaching. Number 1. Helping students to understand the text better. The opposite and most noticeable benefit of reciprocal teaching that students are able to read and comprehend better. Many students tend to have the reading ability but lack the ability to comprehend what they have read, such as through the strategy involved in reciprocal teaching, teachers are able to harness student ability to read the text and make meaning of it. Number 2. Student gain metacognition skill. Another interesting benefit of reciprocal teaching is that it includes in children the ability to question their thought process and identify whether they are right or wrong. Through this, they are able to read a text and answer questions that may arise from the passage without any help. Number 3. It fosters student active involvement in learning process. Reciprocal teaching is immersive is an excellent way to bring students to learning process. More so, students participate in group discussion, take on the teacher's role, and turn ask questions and provided answer to these questions. All of these forms of engagement make learning fun to students and increase their motivation and interest to learn.
Number 4. Promotes collaborative learning. Basically, reciprocal teaching is group-based. The teacher divides students into teams where they dialogue, read the text in turns, and provide meaning to them. The students take on the role of a teacher or reader, and others ask the reader a series of questions and as he reads the text. The student's answer helps to ascertain the reader's understanding of the text. Furthermore, students put their heads together and contribute individually to find out the appropriate meaning of a text. Number 5. Students develop vocabulary knowledge. In the clarifying stage of reciprocal teaching, teachers often allow students to consult their dictionaries when they come across unfamiliar words in the text in order to gain more understanding and clarity. By so doing, students constantly learn new words and meanings that they can apply while talking or writing. More so, they can apply their knowledge of vocabulary into comprehending text better. Number 6. Reciprocal learning caters to students with learning disabilities. High ability students may be able to read and comprehend text easily without having to follow the reciprocal teaching path. However, the process can help students who are slow learners or those with learning disabilities. From the prediction stage, where students have to predict the next line of events in a passage before reading it, to constantly questioning the reader to assess their comprehension of the text, to clarifying unclear parts of the text, to summary, the reciprocal process is really robust and practical. It is also an effective strategy that allows teachers to take their time to help readers comprehend better. More so, children with learning disabilities require special care, time, and patience, and the reciprocal teaching model takes all of these qualities.
Also, reciprocal teaching presents a lot of benefits. It also poses a few challenges due to its processes. The first is it's time-consuming. The reciprocal teaching model is one that requires more time than traditional classroom time. Because of the different processes involved, the teachers need to group students and listen to each individual in the group while assessing their ability to answer questions asked by their group members. Additionally, the teacher also needs to ask a question, help the student out when they are stuck, moderate each group, control noise, while still ensuring that each student becomes better as they progress. As a result, teachers may not be able to cater to each group or individual student the way they should, hence some may be lagging behind and not achieving the goals of the teaching. The second one, misleading feedback. Students are given more freedom to interact and collaborate with each other in reciprocal teaching. More so students take on the roles of the teachers and provide answers to questions asked by their peers. In the process, the group may agree to a wrong answer provided by the readers, particularly if the reader seems like the smartest one among them.
Okay, maybe that's all we could talk about reciprocal teaching strategies. We hope you understand everything we could explain in this video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.